Welcome to session 9 of chapter 1 of company law. Here we are going to discuss about private company. Let's see the features of private company. Private company is featured like this. First one, it's a voluntary association. Needless to explain that the individuals who are interested to incorporate a company, establish a company, having common interest in them, common goal in them, come voluntarily to establish a company. One more thing I want to bring to your kind notice is that nobody from outside should compel the individuals or an individual to start up a company. And the parties who establish a company will continue as its members and they will become the shareholders. A company collects capital from general public by way of shares, equity shares and preference shares, and in form of debentures too. The persons who purchase equity shares become the real owners of the company, and it is mandatory for the members to purchase equity shares, to hold equity shares. Until they hold equity shares of the company, they will continue as the members. If they do not want to continue the membership, they can cancel their membership too by will. So it's a voluntary association. After becoming the member of a private company, nobody from outside or by the other members, either by the remaining members or by the outsiders, should compel the existing member to cancel his membership or to move away from the company. So here it is fully on the basis of will and wish to become the member of a private company. So it's a voluntary association of persons. Individuals who are having common interest in them voluntarily establish a corporation or a company or a corporate unit. Here almost all private companies are established for the purpose of making profit. Second one, limited membership. The liability of private company members is limited to the extent of capital contributed by them, and Companies Act of 2013 stipulated the minimum number of members for a private company. Here minimum number of members stipulated for a private company is 2. Two persons can establish a company, a private company. So it adds private limited or private company limited to its name. So here maximum number of members stipulated is 200. Total number of members should not exceed 200. So there is a limit for membership. If it is a government company or public company, maximum number of members is unlimited and minimum is 7. So here members are limited for a private company, and it is left to the individual's discretion to become the members of private company. Anybody can become the member of private company. Even here minors are there. They are also permitted to become the members, but their work is they are acting as dummy members, and they will not be given with the responsibilities and obligations, and on his behalf his guardians will be playing the role. And it's a incorporated association. Here the third feature of a private company says that a corporate unit or an incorporation, a company which gets established lawfully under the provisions of Companies Act of 2013. So, or under the provisions of any of the previous Companies Acts. A registrar, an application must be filed by the persons who are going to start up, who are going to incorporate a company with Registrar of Companies, and he goes and they have to produce the necessary documents complied with the rules and regulations as prescribed maybe in Companies Act of 2013 with the Registrar of Companies. And after going through the rules and regulations, this Registrar of Companies goes through all the formalities in detail and issues permission for the individual to start up a company. So a company, a unit, a corporate unit which has got established under the provisions of Companies Act are incorporated under the provisions of Companies Act is called a company. And it must be incorporated association, in the sense the individuals who want to start up a company must get it registered. Okay, formally, means after the establishment of company it will be different from its members. And next one is, it's an artificial person created by law. This special feature says that a company in the eyes of law acts as an artificial person. It does not have any physical existence like a human being. It enjoys with all sorts of privileges what a human being enjoys with, except claiming for the citizenship of a country. Like it pays income tax like a person who pays, and it can purchase the assets, it can enjoy it can use the assets, it can hold fixed assets, it can purchase another company, it can sell its properties, and it can utilize its property, and it can enter into contracts with the third parties in its own name. So these are some of the special privileges given by law, like a human being, to a corporate unit. And except citizenship, it enjoys with all sorts of rights and duties. It enjoys with all sorts of privileges like what a human being enjoys with, and the special right is given by the law. So it's an artificial person created by law. In the sense, in the eyes of law, it gets separate existence. It's an artificial person. Next one is separate legal entity. Here it enjoys with the feature of separate legal entity. In the eyes of law, after the formation of company, it will get a separate existence. A company after its incorporation, it will be different from its members. If members manipulate the business, there is a need to lift up the corporate veil, and members are permitted to bring assets to the company and not permitted to take it back from the company. Company maintains its own financial statements, its own records for the transactions it does, and at the end of the year, financial statements, at the end of the year, these transactions are summed up and put before the members, put before the shareholders in the form of financial statements. So trading and profit and loss account and balance sheets clearly depict what has been done by the company in a particular financial year. So the members act individually and members pay income tax on their income, whereas company pays corporate tax on its income. So this itself depicts the distinctive feature of separate legal entity of a company. So here, after it says, rightly we can remark that after its establishment the company becomes different, company gets a separate legal existence. So the members can enter into contracts with the third parties, maybe in the form of purchase agreements or in the form of sale agreements or merger agreements or holding out agreements or any sort of agreements in the name of a company itself. So a company gets a separate privilege of getting separate legal identity in the eyes of law. And next one is formed for specific objects. Here, individuals having common interest in them with the common goals establish or incorporate a company with a clear-cut objective, clear-cut goal. It may be for the purpose of getting profit, for maximizing the wealth of shareholders, or whatever may be the objective. Or say for example, some of the companies might be established as a mean of diversification, okay, and some of the companies may be established for the purpose of acquiring the business of another company, or if it is a loss making, to uplift the position of another company. If there is a loss making unit, if you pursue that there is a loss making unit, to uplift the position of that loss making company, one more company might be established. So purpose may be different, okay. So all the private companies are established with a unique goal, with the unique objective, and the people who are involved with the organization try hard to achieve that common goal. And next one is prohibits invitation to the public for subscription. Here, private companies' shares are not available for general public to subscribe for the shares. Private company shares are not available unless it is specifically provided in the articles of association of the company. Here, the company's routines, company's activities are stated in company's rules and regulations are contained in the articles of association of company, and it must specially provide for inviting. It must include a clause that must say that the company shares must be made available for general public for subscription. So if it is so, people, as and when the IPO takes place, people can subscribe for the shares and purchase, provide an application for purchasing the shares of the company. And it is, if it is not stated in the articles of association, shares are not available for general public and only the members are permitted to purchase the shares. And the next one is special feature a private company enjoys with is perpetual existence. Here, perpetual existence feature says that by the death or insanity or incapacity or retrenchment or relief from the duties or retirement from the duties of any of the members of a private company or any of the person who is decorating in the top position or in any of the positions from any of the layers of the company will never come to an end. Say for example, if a general manager retires or retrenched from the company, or if he may be discharged totally, he may be discharged from the duties, the company will not see an end. and the person who is sitting behind him will come and decorate the position of general manager, so it gets perpetual existence. Okay, this is a special feature of company. If it is a sole proprietor, and unlike other form of business entities, in joint stock companies, in a private company, perpetual existence can be seen. Of course, private company is also falling into the category of joint stock company. In sole proprietorship, by the end of owner of the sole proprietorship, the business may come to an end. Okay, and his successors, if does not want to continue the business, the successors of a sole proprietor do not want to continue the business sees an end. Whereas in the case of private company, if something happens to one person who is decorating a particular position, the person who is sitting behind will come and occupy the place, so it will have perpetual existence. And next one is, it restricts the right to transfer the shares. Private company always restricts the right to transfer the shares unless it is stated in articles of association. Shares should not be transferred between the hands. In almost all cases, the private articles of association contains a special clause that is transfer of shares between hands. Okay, and the shares are freely transferable. If the members do not want to continue as members, they can transfer the shares to some other parties and they will become the members. So it provides in almost all cases, and in only in rare cases we can see the articles of association limiting the transfer of shares between hands. So these are the features which a private company enjoys with. Hope you understood. Thank you.